Hello, and thank you for joining us for this edition of the WebHub tutorial series from Ahrefs Tools Corp. This video is focused on building a WebHub appliance on the Windows platform. I'm your host, Mike Davis. Let's get started. This video covers what is included in a WebHub appliance, how to get the latest PowerShell scripts, how to customize the settings, how to run the scripts, and the benefits of starting all WebHub systems from PowerShell. The appliance requirements are the latest copy of WebHub Appliance PS files from SourceForge, any modern 64-bit system like the ones listed here. The target server can be made of bare metal, a cloud server on Amazon or Azure, or a virtual machine made from VMware or VirtualBox. As long as your machine boots Windows 64-bit, you can install PowerShell 5.1 or greater and use this approach. You will also need access to the file system and clipboard of the new appliance, usually via remote desktop, an empty drive with at least 1 GB space for the appliance files, a development system with at least a web browser, Tortoise SVN or equivalent, and remote desktop client software. A note to developers who do not use WebHub yet: 95% of the ideas and techniques in this video apply to anyone using Windows and IIS. The Zaphod's map configuration can work for any system. All the versioning and editing utilities apply to anyone. And the IIS configuration and Windows platform adjustments apply to a wide range of content management systems. One note for users of older versions of WebHub: you can still leverage these PowerShell scripts to build your staging and production servers. For this tutorial, we will use the smallest possible Amazon EC2 cloud server, known as a T2 Nano machine. It will boot up Windows Server 2016 base with a full graphical user interface. This configuration is sufficient to run the WebHub demos or any low-traffic application. As a reminder, when you configure the security group to define the firewall enforced by Amazon, make sure you restrict RDP to My IP. Allow 20 minutes for an EC2 instance to launch. While the EC2 instance is being set up, let's go ahead and get the PowerShell scripts from SourceForge. The easiest way to do this is to type in the search term WebHub on SourceForge, and then click on the result. To get an idea of what will be included in a new WebHub appliance, click into the wiki, then click Browse Pages, and then select revision 483 resulting files. This wiki page documents the result of running all the PowerShell scripts. This directory listing was made from revision 483 on SourceForge based on a particular set of custom choices, which are shown here. Okay, now we'll proceed with the steps that you would need to take when you're ready to build a new appliance. There are two main ways to get the files: by zip and by subversion. Downloading a full snapshot as a zip will work on any system that has a web browser available. This quickly gives you everything in the trunk of the repository. You can also get the files via SVN checkout. Just make sure that the checkout directory matches exactly what you see here. Now we'll connect to the new appliance using remote desktop. Amazon gives the password for the administrator account. You may see a warning. Just go ahead and click Yes. And once you've connected to your new appliance, create a temporary work area for the files. Here we're putting the files on an empty drive D, which we've previously partitioned and formatted. The dialog box shows that the files are copying. Once all the files have been copied from your development machine onto the appliance machine, go ahead and create a new folder custom on the same level as the WebHub Appliance PS folder. You must use this name. Then, go copy the initialize.ps1 file into the custom directory. Right-click to edit with PowerShell ISE. Windows PowerShell ISE will always be available for editing PS1 files. The first thing you want to do when you open the initialize.ps1 file in your custom directory is to remove all the code from the end of the file where it says delete the rest of the lines on down. Next, edit the items you want to change by toggling flags to select features for the new appliance. You do this by putting a 1 at the end of the items you want installed and a 0 at the end of the items you don't. When you're done, save your file And then go back to the WebHub Appliance PS directory, sort by type, and then run each of the batch files in numerical order. These 10 scripts will build your WebHub appliance in under 1 hour. Please note that it's very likely you'll see this red message the first time you run the first script. Don't panic, just press the spacebar and rerun the first script. Once that first step succeeds completely, CodeSight will have been installed, and you will see the CodeSight Live Viewer start. Pay attention to the messages it displays. As long as you don't see red error icons for the message types, you should have a successful end result. By convention, each batch file runs the PS1 file whose name matches, and that PS1 generally includes the rest of the PS1 files in sequence until the next one with its own batch file. This was done to make development and testing easier. You'll find that it's often handy to rerun small pieces rather than rebuild an entire appliance. You can rename any batch file to match the name of the corresponding PS1 file, and the newly named batch file will launch that single PS1 for you. We encourage you to look inside at least a couple of the batch files. You'll find they are all identical on the inside. It's their name that determines what they do. After running your PS1 file, the batch file technique adds the press any key pause, which causes messages and details to stay visible on the screen until you're ready to close the command window. If you want to run more custom scripts, place your PS1 files in the custom folder you created and run them from there. A few reminders. Number 1. Running the reboot before IIS install is recommended before doing an IIS installation. Number 2. Running IIS backup is not required on day 1. It's provided mainly for use after the server has been fully customized. Number 3. The idea behind the reliable reboot batch file is reliable server even after reboot, where we group small adjustments that make the server run itself during upcoming weeks and months. You can add further custom PowerShell scripts to schedule additional tasks. After running all the batch files, the new WebHub appliance is ready. Let's have a brief look at some of the features installed by PowerShell. The WebHub Runtime system has been completely installed, and the WebHub Central service has been set to start automatically. Because we opted to install the WebHub demos, a site has been created for them in IIS. The scripts application has been added to the site. The IIS handler mappings have been installed and toggled to enabled so that the WebHub ISAPI runner will work immediately. At the top level of the configuration, the WebHub runner has been listed as an allowed ISAPI extension. The PowerShell scripts copied run isa64.dll to run isa.dll so that you can use either file name. If we look at the bindings for our site, we'll see that the PowerShell has hooked up one domain, local-demos.href.com. This is for local testing on the new appliance itself. Now we will look at some common testing steps that one would do after installing WebHub Runtime. We check that the script path works by creating a little text file. Then we test whether the runner responds. If we try on the local-demos site, we see we get just a dash back. This is the correct default response. To see more detail, we would need to add a binding for localhost. This binding of localhost is not done automatically because usually you would have further customizations and tests from your own domain names. Your own custom scripts can add many bindings, virtual paths, and other IIS settings as you wish. Once we have localhost available on our site, we can check the version of the runner and the hub. One more quick test lets us know that the runner is talking with the hub. Here we ask for the NCT response, and the hub correctly says there are 0 connected modules in total. Once you run your own custom WebHub executables, NCT will be more than 0. We have just seen the tip of the iceberg of how much software can be installed and configured by PowerShell. For administrators, the benefits are clear. Your server builds are 100% consistent. Installing by script is much faster than installing by hand, especially because all of the downloads are done for you. In terms of audit trail, if you keep track of the SourceForge revision number that you start from, and keep a copy of your custom initialized PS1 file, You know exactly what led to your system contents. It is much easier and much less expensive to version your custom script than it is to store a 30 gigabyte image of the resulting server. Finally, over time, as you decide to use different utilities, you can optionally rerun individual steps. For example, you might not need Firebird SQL initially, but a year later you might decide to add it to the appliance. Just toggle the flag for Firebird from 0 to 1 and rerun its script. Hopefully at this point, you're feeling inspired to use PowerShell to install all aspects of your own systems. There are many resources available for learning PowerShell. One practical place to start is to study the custom PS1 files published as part of the WebHub demos on SourceForge. We hope that you'll contribute your own ideas and scripts back to the WebHub Appliance PowerShell project on SourceForge. Thank you for joining us for this edition, and we'll see you next time.